Hi, today I'm going to talk about purchase order PDF automation. So, if you've got a purchase order database created in Notion and you're looking for ways to automate the generation of PDF files from this database, then this video is for you. As you can see in the background, I have got a purchase order database with 3 records of information in the database, and I'm looking for a solution of how we can automate the process of generating PDF files using the information from the database. So today I'm going to show you the exact solution for this. What I've also done is for this database, I have also created a Google document file which has the same purchase order template created over on this Google document. So using this template file as the main source of information and this database as the CRM information, we will be able to create PDF files from this purchase order one by one. So essentially, we'll be using this Google document template file and we'll be using this Notion database as a source of information, and we'll be creating PDF files out of this. For this to work, we will use a tool known as PDF Output. PDF Output will help you automate the process of generating the PDF files right from your Notion database using the Google document. And once the automation is correctly set up, you can directly create PDF files right inside the Notion database without ever going back to PDF Output once again. So it will directly create the PDF files right over here inside the database, and you will be able to control everything within the Notion database itself. So let us understand how this will work. So click on create PDF and simply continue with one of the existing accounts which you're going to use. So I'm going to choose one of my accounts from this list, and once we log in, we'll be able to see what we can do from there. Make sure you're giving the necessary permissions what is being asked that is required for setting up the account correctly. So once you log in, you will be asked to add a database, a document, and then we can map the fields to set up the automation process. So for setting up the database, I will just simply copy this database title from here. I will go back to PDF output. I'll click on this drop down and I will click on add Notion database. Once you click on add Notion database, it will ask you to add the database which you have copied from here on the Notion end. So always copy the database title and then go back and click on next. And here you have two options. Either you can go with a template that I have already provided to you. So this is a demo database which I've already created. So you can use this database to test the automation process. Otherwise, you can click on select pages to add your own database. Click on select pages and simply paste the database title which you have copied earlier. Always ensure that you're adding your database in this process only. That is, you're copying the entire database name and you're pasting the entire database name inside the search pages. This will help you pinpoint the exact database which you need without ever worrying that you are missing out on any database. So click on this and it will automatically add the database. So make sure you are avoiding the process of adding the database by selecting these pages from here, because if you do this, it will take time to load all the databases that are available inside the pages, which will unnecessarily create confusion and it will take some time for you to understand the process. Rather than that, simply copy the database title and put it over here to add the database. Another thing to understand over here is that if you are using any relational property inside this database, make sure you're also adding the relational database through this process by searching the database and adding it. So let's say my purchase order database is connected to, maybe let's say, client database. So we have a buyer database. Let's assume that I have a buyer database. So you also need to add the buyer database over here so that both the purchase order and buyer database are added. So until unless you do not add all the relational database, it will not capture the relational properties as it is required. Having considered all these points, let me click on allow access. And now it will give me access to the purchase order database which I can use for the automation setup. So you can click on the drop down and you can see the database. If it is not appearing, simply refresh and it will automatically reload the purchase order database which we can use for the further steps. So you can see the purchase order database coming up over here. So make sure to give it a quick reload to find the database. Click on this and now the purchase order database will be visible for your use case. So you can see the purchase order database has been added. It's time to add the Google document. So I already have this Google document created beforehand. So I will click on add Google document and I will choose with existing document. If you click on demo document, it will create a sample document file with all the properties of the database which has been loaded at the bottom. Okay, but we want to create our own database, our own Google document. So click on add Google document, click on select existing document. This will allow you to add your existing document which you have in a Google Drive. Click on documents and simply copy the document title from here. So it is the same process. So let me copy the document title put it inside the documents view and search for it. So you will be able to see the purchase order PDF output come up over here. Click on this and click on select, and now you will be able to see the same document which we were viewing over here added up on the left side. So we have the document added up, we have the database added up. It's time to map the fields of the database onto the document so that we can proceed with the automation setup. So what do we mean by mapping? So currently, let's say on the document side, we have purchase order number, but we don't have any value written over here, right? So we can search for the purchase order number that we have over here in the database inside PDF output, and we can simply copy paste the property so that the fields are mapped and it will generate those values in the document itself. So I will search for, let's say, purchase order number, which I have over here. Let me click on copy. This will copy the value, and I will simply use Control V or Command V to paste the property over here. Similarly, I will go with the date field. So let me copy the date value. Let me put it over here. Let me go with the supplier name. Click to copy and put it over here. So you can repeat this process for all the properties which you want to copy and paste. Okay, it's all simply copying and pasting, and you do not need to worry anything else. Click to copy once again and put it over here. So I have quickly added 4 properties by mapping the values from the database properties that was loaded at the bottom onto the document itself. If you're adding new properties, just click on reload database. It will reload all the properties once again. So in this process, you can obviously map all the fields over here. I've already mapped the remaining fields in the document so that we save time on this. Now, once everything is mapped, what you can do is you can choose how you want to name the PDF files. So I want to name the PDF file by the purchase order number column that we have over here. So I will select purchase order number in the drop down. So let me search for purchase order number, which I have over here. Click on this. So now all the files will be named as per the purchase order number that we have over here. This is just one additional step which we need to do. Now everything is set up and we're ready to generate the PDF file. But before that, if you go back to the database and scroll to the right side, you will see that it has automatically added these 2 additional columns, generate PDF and PDF files. If any record is set as ready to generate under the generate PDF column, it will automatically create the PDF file for those records. So if you are choosing any record as, let's say, in progress, it will not create the PDF files for those particular records. But if you are making any changes over here, obviously reload the database so that it automatically fetches the new additional information from the changed database. So I'm going to set it as ready to generate. And once I do that, I will be able to click on download PDF, and it will automatically download the PDFs and get it over here inside this Notion database itself. So let us wait for a few seconds, and you can see the first file is already out, and you can see the first file is also stored in the Notion database itself. So if I click open on this first file, you will be able to see that all the fields in this particular document have been mapped. So we have the purchase order number mapped, we have the date mapped, supplier name has been mapped. Everything has been fetched from this particular record, and it has been created onto this document. Okay, this is how the automation works. And you can see it just created 3 files and stored all the files inside the database itself, and it marked the status as completed. If you want to generate it once again set it as ready to generate and repeat the process, and it will create the PDF file. But a important thing that to understand over here is that if you click on setup Notion automation, this will create an automation between PDF output and the database, and now you never need to go back to PDF output ever again. All you need to do is go back to the database which you have, add the records that you want to add over here, and simply choose to ready to generate in the specific records. So you can keep adding records, and you can set as ready to generate. When the record is ready, it will create a PDF file automatically over here inside the database. So you never need to go back to PDF output to repeat this process ever again. If you want to change the document setup, you can obviously do that by changing the document and setting up the new mappings. Once everything is done with the new mapping, you can click on setup Notion automation once again. It will readily create the PDF files once anything is marked as ready to generate. That is the beauty of using this tool, because once it is correctly set up, you do not need to go back to PDF output, and you can directly add records inside the database, put it as ready to generate, and the files will be created over here. I hope this explanation was clear to you. If you have any questions, you can obviously use this chat bubble at the bottom, and you can send me a message with whatever queries you are having, or you can go back to the contact section over here and you can choose to get in touch with me with your queries on this, and I'll be happy to assist you on this. I'll also be adding a template section so you can directly download this particular document and the database itself. So you will find you